let's talk about something more positive. Let's move on to Candace Owens, who I know has had a big influence on you. I remember when Candace Owens first came on the scene, you called me up and you said, I really like the way Candace Owens thinks.
I have a question for the panel. How long have you guys, I guess you guys are more in tune with this sort of thing than I am. How long has this woman been in your sphere?
That's a good question.
Pretty early on, because we've been following Turning Points USA for...
What's Turning Points USA?
That's Charlie Kirk. Sam debated him at Politicon.
Okay.
It's like it's Foster Friess as the main oligarch in
charge.
And it's like, let's go harass humanities professors.
Yeah, it's the college campus arm of the new far-right propaganda network.
Okay, so it's concentrated on young kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a campus thing.
So, of course, and since they're not, of course, they're Trump, so they're all alt-right, of course, but... The play is, you're the real racist.
But they've had multiple.
So they need a, but of course they've had multiple
They had to fire a VP for a text that was just I hate blacks. I'm sorry, I just hate them.
Yeah.
It's
No, they're
full on
and
this.
Anti-Semitic. Well, no,
Oh,
of
easy.
course.
And there was another one from those release texts was, don't go so hard on the Jew stuff for no reason.
That was literally a text. He just literally said, "Don't go so hard on the Jew stuff."
If you're gonna go hard on it,
standalone text.
But it was if you're gonna go hard on it, have a reason you're going hard on it.
Right.
It's talk specifically about what they do in Hollywood. Don't
keep
just,
it based on policy, okay?
Yeah. Look, just because the Holocaust didn't happen doesn't mean that you can just attack Jews. Generally, yeah, right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you guys had already been.
We knew who she was, and then definitely, so she was on the radar. But I mean, because this is an old role. This is just the new version of the old, the Thomas Sowell, be the fucking right wing, informant. And it's amazing too, because these people will say oh, you're saying that you can't be just because you're, black or a woman or whatever, that you have to be, a Democrat. And okay, first of all, here's the real question. Here's the real answer. Is that what do we say? It's it's not that black people can't be Republicans. Nobody can be Republicans. Yeah, and secondly, you will meet people with a variety of politics in any community. There is only... If you go to the Jewish community, there's you'll get a million different perspectives on big issues. It's only a very small handful of Jews, and they literally are one Orthodox group that are the Holocaust had to happen because we weren't doing Shabbat right. And that is not a mainstream representation of how your Jewish community thinks.
Right.
So that's how you should think about people like Candace Owens, in my opinion.
I mean, nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to be a complete idiot or a Republican to think that there's a plurality of black people who get down like Candace Owens, right? And again, it's not even the idea that you couldn't be conservative, because I think about it all the time. I'm friends with so many people that I know for a fact, if republicanism wasn't so based in the outright, just the idea that black people are subhuman, less worthy than everybody else, they would be so happy to be Republican.
I know, especially, you're Caribbean, dude.
They would be so happy to be oh, they fucked up. Leave them behind. Get out of here. So
I remember one time I was in the car in Trinidad, and I don't even remember the context, but I remember this guy was just I wish I could still do the accent. I used to be able to, but he was basically just oh, there's Michael again. He cares about the black poor people. I was whoa. Yeah. And that would be exactly the type of person that if he was here, he would just be if you could just give me a slightly lower barrier to entry, I'd be a Republican. But Candace Owens is, and by all appearances, an absolute sociopath, so that's no barrier to entry with her. I like Russell Brand a lot. I actually, in some ways, I like the way Russell Brand thinks. But I think, sometimes he's doing a different thing, in my opinion. I think sometimes he does give too much more space to someone like Jordan Peterson than I would.
It's controversy based, right? So he's not bringing on a lot of Marxists.
He has. He's brought on
does, but
David Harvey. He's had on several times. He has on Yanis Varoufakis.
But the main thing is these sorts of conversations, I feel.
Well, I think the main thing that gets triggered on YouTube is these sorts of conversations. But regardless, Russell Brand, I'm still basically a big defender of. I have criticisms about What'd you say?
I like Russell.
Yeah,
Brand.
I like Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand a lot. What's funny is that I watched a chunk of this interview. I couldn't really go through most of it because Candace Owens is just constant propaganda. It's not interesting. Like actually, I learned something from the Peterson conversations. Like I still had disagreements about how some of it was handled, but it was a conversation that was like, oh, at least this is intelligence gathering. Candace Owens is just it's just talking points.
It's not a conversation. It's just I studied these words.
Yeah, she's just spitting talking points.
Well, I learned that she's the type of person who thinks her IQ is too high to benefit from therapy.
Yes,
which is
I
interesting.
mean, I watched that. Like, I know I throw the word sociopath around a lot, but I watched it being like, I think that chick is definitely a sociopath.
I've never heard her speak. I'm only familiar with her tweets. So
well, here's really a couple of minutes. You'll see her speak, and this was the moment that we found the clip where Russell finally lost it a little bit. Let's check it out.
But do you not think this individualistic culture is in itself destroying the principles at a spiritual, human level of community? Do you not think that economic inequality creates in a human being a sense of injustice, of unfairness? Because people, do you know what, Candace? 90% of people that are rich, do you know why they're rich? They was born rich.
Okay, I can tell you something. I think that economic disparity creates that feeling, but a fundamental understanding in economics can help you
know
conquer
that the most people that are rich are born rich? It's not like there's a tiny minority of people that are like you that come from a poor background and manage to overcome it. And this is what's a problem I've noticed with a lot of great people is they sort of believe that their greatness is something that can be replicated, and I don't think it can.
I see. So I believe in the individual. You don't. That's our fundamental differences.
That the primary goal of the individual should be to serve the community.
I do not believe that the primary goal of
what
an
do you
individual,
think the primary goal
of the individual
should be?
I think that once an individual feels
serve
that they
the
have
individual.
Served, so you're discounting the human spirit.
I'm not discounting
it.
I'm saying that's what there is.
Let me ask you.
That's the wrong thing to say to Russell.
In humanity, think of animals in the wild. You don't even have to go to humanity. We can just think about animals in the wild. What is our human instinct? Okay, are you going to make sure that everyone on this block is fed before you feed yourself? Do you go around and say, "Hey, have you had breakfast this morning?
Listen,
hey, have you had breakfast this morning? Hey, or are you going to make sure you're eating? And if you have an excess, of course you're going to do the human condition, and our incentives are going to be to want to help people.
Are you mental? The richest 15 people on the planet have got as much accumulative wealth as the poorest 5 billion.
But
that's an excess.
No.
That's an excess.
Okay. Talking about literally 0.00001% of the world is what you're talking about. Okay, and what are they preaching? What do they want? Socialism, so that nobody else has the opportunity to become what they've become. They're the ones that are pushing for
socialism.
Yes,
that's not real socialism.
Well, are you kidding? George Soros doesn't want socialist policies. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, doesn't want socialist policies. They want to make sure that no one else has the opportunity to get to where they got.
Actually,
why the fuck did they end it right there after she said that demented nonsense?
If we enacted socialism, actually, we'd take all their fucking money.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. No, they're not advocating for that. Take my money away. Give it to everybody else. That's not what are you talking about?
We would be so much better financed if that was the case.
Yeah, I know.
Bezos is
hey, Jeff, if you're serious about this, give me $50 million. We'll do
the
a whole
Koch
network.
brothers are laughing at you, Jeff.
Yeah, come on, Jeff.
Can you imagine
serious.
if the left...
I thought you were just ruining labor unions and completely devastating local economies. I had no idea
Jeff's
what you were trying to do.
people piss in bottles because he wants them to rise up and take all his fucking
Rise
money.
up.
Jeff is like,
Control
if
the
I
means of
torture
production.
enough people through frictionless production and destroy enough communities and do this ridiculous fucking fraudulent, insane American Idol style shit where cities beg us to come and give us money even though we're one of the richest corporations on the planet in an embarrassing, craven display of giving money away to oligarchs, then maybe they'll finally wake the fuck up and realize we got to overthrow capitalism. Yeah, Jeff Bezos is an accelerationist.
Like, what the that's beyond dumb. It's like, just the idea. Well, yeah, those are the people pushing. No, it's not. These people are the biggest capitalists in the world. What are you talking about? They're all capitalists. You can't get rich and not be capitalist. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get that rich.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Why are the capitalists also...
Why are the socialists also capitalists? the financial
Well, you know, if
times.
you really followed that door, there are people who think like that. And there's books like, I don't know, like the Protocols of the Elders of Zion.
That's what
like,
this is.
Like, that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay, the world's a secret Jew socialist bank cabal.
The Jews are trying to get us to think
Yo.
that pursuing socialism and not enriching ourselves is going to stop us from. It's
See, what happens is the Jews are like, everybody should take care of each other and be nice to each other. And then we make all the money. Let's go play some dreidel and tell the black people to be socialists so they don't go to Harvard.
And yo,
Hey, would you like some ice for free? Now we get to keep all the money.
the crazy thing is that
Can I have a beer, please?
as I said, please, Matt, make that too. As I said before, I've never really gotten into the nitty gritty, the sort of outer edges in the political world, right? Like
That's some outer edge right there, dude.
I want to say within the last 2 years, I learned that globalists meant rich Jews. Like I never knew what, like, when people are talking about a media conspiracy, they're just by proxy saying that most media entities are owned and operated by Jewish people. Therefore, they're talking about Jews. Like I literally never got that, because when you grow up black, Jews are just crackers. Right? Like there's no.
Wait, not even crackers with like exceptionally bad posture.
No,
that scurry around
there's no delineation. There's no separation. There's no hierarchy. It's
just devils.
people who are doing much better than we are. That's it.
Well,
Like,
we don't
this
got a
stuff,
whole
I feel
time
so
to make a whole
naive
lot
at
of
times,
distinctions.
honestly.
We don't got to make a whole lot of distinctions here.
I feel crazy naive at times, honestly, man. When a lot of this stuff, when it comes to right wing Jew anti-Semitic conspiracies, it's just like Jesus.
Yeah, I have to say though, I've heard. I'm not gonna lie. Like I have heard some wild like. I remember this one nation dude.
Thank you.
This one dude I talked to one time, this black dude, was like, he's like, yeah, I mean, Trump has to be part of it, or the Jews wouldn't let him win. I was like, whoa! I was like, I love how he got me. Like, I sit around, I walk around all day, like quoting Farrakhan, doing like the fucking most anti-Semitic voices in the world.
Right.
I got bolt upright. I was like, you should fucking watch Schindler's List, motherfucker. How dare you? It's disgusting. You just enjoyed that Michael Brooks Show video, and you can get a lot more by subscribing to us here at the Michael Brooks Show YouTube channel. It's literally right there.